What?
It's the 3 defense on Thea. Aim Force Caspian and side knocks out at yellow.
Caspian signatures to take out Thea early is definitely a possibility.
It's a counter pick.
It's interesting that Boomie is sticking with his Thea, just because like on like social media, Boomie's been the biggest like Thea denier. He's like, this character is so bad.
He's screaming for buffs because it's his main. Okay,
that's true. That's tech.
He sees Thea and he's like, this is exactly how I want to play Brawlhalla, but the character's not as good as I need her to be. That's what he's saying. The neutral thing actually baiting both myself and Fozey into thinking that was it for that stock. But look how much damage he's already taken. Right, this is Caspian is the hardest hitting Qatar legend in the game, and also one of the few Qatar legends that has a ranged signature, which happens to also knock out incredibly early. But he's on the gauntlets right now.
Yeah, I mean, that side sig is also a devastating signature if Fozey manages to pull that one off. But Boomie's done a really good job bringing this one back. Doesn't get punished for it. This is really like a knowledge check for Fozey, right? Like, does he know how to punish these signatures from Thea? Because if you're not ready for it, they can trip you up a lot.
Yeah, D-Light Sider coming through there. Goes for the edge guard here with the Sire. No, puts out the sideline instead. Gets hit by that downlight into recovery. And just like that, Boomie goes down the first stock here in game 1.
Fozey gonna juggle for a little bit. Looks like he wants to stick with these Qatars. It's interesting because like he has the gauntlets from his Zaryo play in 2v2s, but it seems like he wants the Qatars a little bit more for 1v1s.
Yeah, even though Fozey ended up picking something that Remy and I both weren't talking about, I do think that it is the Qatar focus here, despite the gauntlets being a thing. That was a great finisher from Boomie there. But I guess it could be either way. I really do think that when looking at this pick, it's like Fozey's got a pretty diverse legend pool, and when he's looking at a matchup that's as low defense as Thea is, I think Boomie didn't take a 4 defense stance. I think he's just on default. I had to check that after the game. It makes a lot of sense to me, because Fozey, with Caspian, you can send Onyx flying in orange with the right side thing.
Those Caspian 6, we've seen them be very strong. But right now, Boomie just trying to make sure he doesn't get hit by anything. Gets some hits in on the Fozey right now. Nice little side air.
Ooh, Sarah comes through that side, so just barely misses it. Boomie just walks by as if nothing happened. Dodges away from that neutral signature, and Fozey falls in with the downer, gets the Sarah. The neutral sig dodges out of the way quite well, and Boomie's actually playing around the Caspian signatures from Fozey quite effortlessly. But the way he's doing it, I can't believe he dodged all the way around that down sig, and then he gets the neutral signature. But Thea just doesn't have that knockout power that other characters have. You really got to make sure you ramp up that damage before you go out for the knockout.
She is the fastest legend in the game, coming in at 9 movement speed, but that means she has some of the weakest hitting moves as well as some of the lowest defense that you can have.
It's definitely, but the force isn't so bad, right? You don't have a scenario right here like you do with Caspian. But so far, Boomie's doing great getting these straight hits. That's 3 times now that he's going around Fozey. And the gravity cancel neutral catches Fozey on the dodge. He goes for the grab up for the finish there and just barely misses. Oh, I do not blame Boomie going out all the way for that, right? That ground pound hits and he gets the upper edge of that that spike. That's it for Fozey's last stock.
I mean, the second that GC end light hits, like, you know Boomie's seeing red. He's wanting to get that one final blow. A side air could have done it, ground pound could have done it. He just didn't find that mark.
Yeah. He's done a great job avoiding all these down sticks so far. In fact, has Fozey hit a signature this game? I wonder. The neutral comes through there, and I'm like, because when I cast Fozey in doubles, I talk a lot about how his signature accuracy is so high. But Boomie has yet to fall victim to a single one.
I mean, it is. Caught him! Charged it up and everything. Boomie able to take the game off of Fozey. And like you said, I think it's a lot harder to get away with doing a lot of signatures in 1v1s because you're not having like your teammate there to cover. You're not having like the sheer like quote unquote chaos that's forcing people to go high, so you can do a lot more of those end sigs.
I know the damage says it's 434, but I think the numbers are reversed there. Yeah, it was like 594 damage coming out from Boomie on the Thea that time. And we were talking about how it's the signatures don't get very far away, but Thea does a lot of damage. Like, it's just one of those things where you just have to do a little bit more damage than other legends to be able to get those knockouts when you get the signature.
Here we go into game number 2. No swaps, same map, same picks. Fozey gonna try to find a little bit more momentum this time.
Right, and now I'm curious how that's gonna play out because, like, I really do think a very huge reason why you pick Caspian just for the signature knockout.
Touch!
He didn't touch the side of the wall and he falls down. But as I was saying with the legend pick, if you're not connecting with the signatures, I do feel like Qatars and Gauntlets do a little bit too much of the same thing in the matchup, right? Like usually you pick Caspian for whatever weapon that you're comfortable with, and then you go for those knockouts with the signatures. And Fozey with the gauntlets on the side of the stage could get the edge guard here.
GCN and still touch. Yep, ground pound turns it around. Boomie gets back up safely.
Okay, that was a bit of a surprise to me that Fozey went that deep. I think it's like another strength that Thea has is that all of her signatures are basically recovery tools as well as knockout tools.
They move her around.
I think like as a boots and glance, you have that neutral sig on both of them. You get the side sig, actually, yeah, the side sig on both of them too. Yeah, the down sig. Honestly, she's a very mobile legend. We see her slide across the stage there with that side sig.
I really feel like that like edge guard situation was just Fozey not knowing the matchup, right? Like most people, if you know Thea's end sig, you know wait that out and then you punish afterwards. But still gets a nice little side air there to take down Boomie's second stock.
Yeah, Boomie now at a significant deficit there, goes unarmed, gets hit by the gauntlet downer. D-like ground pound tags on some more damage, and he holds onto that down sig. So that down sig has a property like Koji side sig on sword. It's just way more dramatic because you get that first dash, and then you charge the second dash. So you could let it rip right away, get a fast back and forth, just like that, to get Fozey off the right side of the stage, or you could hold it a little bit, try to get a mix-up if they're going to dodge down, dodge in place, react to the startup rather than the finish.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of people when they're playing Thea, right? They'll do that initial throw out and they'll just charge it for a little bit because people want to come in, try to punish it, and then they end up getting caught by that second swing.
Boomie's now even things up, but Fozey gets a good guitar string in there. Let's see if we can find, at this point in time, side sig does knock out. Oh, Boomie, you're off stage. He's got to be careful. He's already lost 2 stocks to being in this position. Switches over to the LAN, burns with the down leg, gets the read of the dodge in place with the Sair, but no end sig afterwards, and dodges up to avoid the neutral sig from Fozey.
Oh, no, it's charging! Oh! Missed the down sig, but it's all just to reposition for the ground pound.
Let's talk about that down sig at the very end. That is incredibly tight on the timing to do, right?
Yes.
Because in order to get it to where, because you have to like pivot, slide charge pivot the down signature in a way to where you're still aiming away from the side of the wall. And then you get that whole entire duration of the charge, because it's not gravity canceled, right? So you're really holding on the side of the wall there. And Fozey did the right thing. He waited for a while, but that doesn't mean it's that any easier to get back to the stage. And hopefully we'll be able to see that highlight in just a little bit, because that's crazy. Because if you mess that up, you just go back on stage with the down sig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see this right here, I think.
No, this is the second stock of Fozey.
2, 1,
we're not going to see it! Tragedy as Fozey swaps.
Switches over to the Wushang. Rano being picked out here onto Brawlhalla. And I don't know, right? Like, it's like, I mean, I do know. I get the swap because he didn't land a single signature. So the point of the Caspian's kind of defeated. But as far as the stage goes, with how Boomie's getting these knockouts, we'll see if it benefits him at all. Because now his back's against the wall here as Boomie's on the verge of putting him into the elimination bracket.
I kind of like the swap to this Wushang just because, like, again, the Spear Nair is a really good tool against weapons that like to stack up, like these boots. And of course, if you're playing right, you can play around that Lance as well, get a lot of those down lights if someone likes to go for those Sair approaches. Yeah,
nice knockout by Fozey, though. Takes Boomie off the top of that recovery. This is a similar position that Boomie was in on the Demon Island game before this. He was able to bring it back, but Fozey getting a huge... Whoa, okay. That's
supposed to be a GC?
I wonder if it was supposed to be a recovery. Either way, he ground pounds low, doesn't get punished for it, manages to make it back and get some damage on the Boomie as Boomie's continuing to struggle to get these neutral wins. These down tigs are coming through, and Fozey's dodging all of them. And to say that 3 defense, I'm feeling that one right there. Wow. I didn't even know Wushang could knock out that early.
I think against most other characters he can't.
Yeah,
but that's small Brawlhalla and Thea, so that is very quick knockout potential.
So it's 3 stocks to 1 off of the switch.
Ooh,
that was beautiful. The combo there with the Nair and the mix-up right there. And so Boots Nair, I think the only other... There's a few Nairs that act like how Boots Neutral Air does with not high knockback scaling, like Axe, Nair, and Orb. But Boots is particularly tricky because of the kind of follow-up you can get after that, and that recovery was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really good setup tool. Like, he could have gone straight downlight into the recovery, but he wanted that extra tap, gives him a little bit of a pop-up as well as that damage. And he turned it around, goes for an end light there. Thought for sure he was going to go for another GC downlight, but Fozey is going to clean that one up, and yeah, Fozey puts himself on the board with the swap to the Wushang.
Yeah, Fozey sees Boomie trying to go in a little bit too hard there with that down air. Charges the down signature, sends him right off the left side of the stage, and that's going to be game 3 going over to Fozey. Avoiding that reverse, or avoiding that 3-0 possibility and bringing up the possibility of reverse 3-0. I still think the damage numbers are swaps, but I wonder if he'll be staying on Wushang for the rest. I mean, I guess he is, right?
Yeah.
Because I think Caspian, while theoretical, failed because Boomie just played around the signature so well. And so now Fozey's like, okay, I've got my setups off my light attacks this time. We saw a lot more neutral signatures connect. And even the down tick at the end, right? That's stuff that's working out really well for Fozey here.
I feel like he just straight up used more signatures on Wushang as well. Like, he did a bunch of those neutral sigs.
They did hit, and right, and I still think he used more on Caspian. It just didn't feel that way because we never saw them connect. Still here, great lead from Boomie. Neutral sig disarms Fozey. Edge guard opportunity, could fall off the side air here, and that could be huge. Especially if he doesn't use the active input, he gets the strength of that hit.
Just goes out there, throws up
the
the
down
side air.
again. I wonder if he tried, and that down air was a mistake. Oh, dodge, Fozey. Okay, Fozey played around that because he was waiting for it. He's like, the move's going to end eventually. He does it again. He sees the startup, and then he goes in forward. But if Boomie just lets it rip, you don't really, like, it's an interesting way of conditioning your opponent there because if you're already stacked with where the down is going to cover, and Fozey's waiting for you to hold the move, he may just get hit by the move waiting for the dodge timing.
Yeah, like, Fozey's trying to go for that quick reaction spot dodge, which works really well if he can time it correctly. But Boomie can kind of mix up his timing because, again, it's a signature. You can charge it and change up when you throw out that second hit.
Oh, misses the ground pound. It gets hit by a side air and a neutral light. That's a ton of damage coming out of Boomie's second stock here. Choosing to fight unarmed at the moment, using that movement speed, which applies both aerial and in the ground to get around the map, but can't find a weapon. Is that going to be it? Lance picked up. All right, what can he do with it? Nothing so far.
Down six.
Yeah. Oh, the back end of the nair does hit as Boomie barely gets line of sight over the side of the wall. When Fozey goes off stage here, Boomie gets those Lance ground pounds. Okay, makes it back, and this is scary. Does he switch over? Goes to this. Oh. I imagine he's just going to let down to grip, right? Yeah, okay. What surprised me is that it knocked out.
Yeah, honestly, that was the big wild part there. But he's definitely liking this Lance down tick. He's doing it a lot, and Fozey, like, at one point seemed like he had an answer with those spot dodges,
and
but
then
he's still getting caught.
He stopped charging it, and then Boomie's like, okay, I'm just going to, oh, okay. Doesn't go any further with that one. Fozey now on his winner's bracket stock once again. Has to equalize this quickly, otherwise he could get knocked down. Boomie will move forward. Oh, spot dodge
for spot dodge.
Yeah, I was really wondering if he would cancel it, but I guess like at that point just didn't have anything for it. Double ground pound, that's going to be it, right? Boomie falls.
Last stocks here. Does the difference between a game 5 situation or Boomie continuing forward? Fozey. Yeah. He's got the weapon advantage. Doesn't go for the denial there. You saw him trying to hit that side air, and Boomie just sneaks underneath it.
Yeah, I don't know how many of the signatures he wants to let rip in this situation because Fozey's not that damaged. The nairs are doing a great job, and as Fozey's keeping this vertical space controlled, Boomie's getting hit by nairs and recoveries, and he's already in orange. Oh, that side stick gets punished there, nair. That's so much damage coming through here. Edge guard opportunity, though. That could be huge.
Fozey changing up his dodge off that side air, so Boomie wasn't able to get the read there. Went for his side light, and Fozey dodged through it. There's a spot dodge burned, but Boomie not able to cover the landing.
Oh, now Fozey staying on that platform, going for the pogos over and over again. I think a side stick on the spear would do it. But Boomie, goes with the down stick. Barely avoids the ground pound by just hugging the wall, and the backswing of the nair connects Fozey. Now as damaged as Boomie is in regards to the knockouts. Okay, it hits.
It's still hit.
He went behind him thinking he wasn't going to get connected, and he gets sweeped into the move.
The sonic boom, that blast from behind, but Fozey gets the double. He missed
delays
the recovery.
He gets the double delay, and the recovery's too slow. The down to connects, and Boomie gets the win. Fozey was one move away from bringing it to a game 5, and he just was too slow on the recovery. That was just a timing problem, right? Like that's, I've seen delay recovery take off the top over and over.
I mean, like even if you're in that. Okay, I don't know what, no, he had to, okay, so that was a grounded downlight to start it off, and then he gets the GC downlight, so he had the ability to jump